Dr. Q's Fresh Breath Club for brighter smiles and maximum oral health. Made from 100% sustainable bamboo, it provides fresh breath for the whole family, grandparents, parents, and children. Buy once or subscribe to join the club. Fresh breath awaits at drqsfreshbreathclub.com. Shop now.
Yes, we are your host, Shenise Nicole, and tonight we're going to be talking about sex addiction. And Shenise, can you get us started, please?
Yes. So I want to say, aside from the most powerful emotion, which is love, is sex. And so we just definitely wanted to talk about people's addiction to sex. It can most definitely, I feel like, consume someone's life. I feel like, sex is like a drug. You know what I'm saying? Like you have your weed, you have your cigarettes, you have your coke, and then you have sex. And I feel like it's something that I just want to put this disclaimer out too. I feel like it's something that people need to be careful with, because when you get it good and you get that one person where it's like top tier, top notch, it can be addicting to a point where it's like, I don't know. I feel like it could be addicting to a point where it's like, you don't want to do anything else but that. I don't know anybody personally with an addiction, but it's out there, it's real. And, I definitely feel like people just need to be careful when they're giving themselves to somebody, because you could essentially I'm spiritual. So you can essentially create a soul tie. You might even exchange or make a deal with the devil, exchanging fluids and entering guts and all that other stuff. Just be careful. It can be very, very addicting. And I want to say the dangers behind it too is that there's a lot of manipulation behind it. You get it so good to where you doing stuff, crazy stuff to get it. It could get to a point where you're just taking it from people. It could definitely be like a drug. You just got to be careful with that. And yeah, that's what I got to say about that for now. What do you have to say about that?
I'm going to say a lot of people I know got a sex addiction. I would say they, even though they could go without it, they want it more so. Like, it's something that they must have. They can't go too long without. It's an addiction, meaning like it has its pros and cons, more cons than pros.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not saying that I had sex before without being married, but since I've been into it, I believe it's best to have when you're married, because like you were saying, that you could share with somebody you actually know, and it could be good in a good way. Because if you just going around having sex with this one, that one, it do saps your energy, and so you give it too much time to,
Yeah.
and that do be the focal point, because you like, oh, gotta go do this, gotta do this to get that, and it just become routine. You get accustomed. It was people don't know who she is, but one of my ex-girlfriends, I used to go to her house every weekend, and that's what we used to do every weekend. The only time we didn't do it on the weekend is when she was on her menstrual or something. So
you know what? It's crazy that you mentioned that too, because there are people that are really like freaks. They'll really do that. They'll be like, I'm not scared of blood. And I'm just kind of like, I feel like
it's
that definitely understand that we menstruate. Kudos to you. However, to a degree, it kind of can be nasty, because, from a scientific standpoint, I see why a lot of people would think it's nasty, because honestly, when you think about it, our uterus is shedding eggs that we're not using, right? And if you're like penetrating that area while it's shedding those eggs, it's kind of like gross to think about it. But
I know some fellas that ate the kitty
on the
girl menstrual, so they don't care about penetrating their face in it. So
yeah, I wonder if it like tastes weird. You gotta really be addicted to it to me. Let us know in the comments if it tastes weird. We're not gonna shame you. Okay. Oh, you might not want to put your business out there, but if you bold enough, yeah. But a lot of guys say that it's kind of gross to penetrate on the rag, because I call it the rag, because that's what Kevin Gates call it. But they say it's kind of gross to penetrate on the rag because there is a copper smell, or like an iron smell. And I'm like, you're going to smell that because it's blood, for one. It's hemoglobin. Like,
I can smell her. It just she don't gotta be near me. She could just walk past me one time, and I would just keep smelling it until she leave my presence.
Yeah, I feel like when it's strong like that, I don't know. I feel like fresher blood definitely has like fresh and heavy flow blood definitely has like a stronger scent only because it's fresh. You know what I'm saying? And once it dies, it's gonna have a really foul smell. So I guess that's why once the blood gets old and dies off, like it's gonna have a really foul smell. And that's just with anything. When anything dies, like it smells. When something's infected, it smells. You know what I'm saying? So I see why that's disgusting to you. But to the ones that are not afraid of that, they definitely got to be some addicts because, yeah, that's crazy. It's very messy. You know, to me, it does not, unless your pH balance is off, it should not stink. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't really stink. It should just have like a unique smell to it, and that's it.
Yeah. And another thing, a lot of sex addicts, when that's going on with the female, they menstrual. If the girl, most of the or some girls I know, they rather have anal sex more so, since they can't have the regular vaginal sex.
Yeah.
Take it a step up, so they want to be penetrated. They want to be out.
Yeah, because we have, you know, when you have 3 holes, you might as well utilize the other 2 when one's out of commission, right? And those is for the freaks that can't hold out. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I definitely feel like, you know, when something becomes an addiction, though, just in general, you know, you kind of allow it to consume you. And that's when it then is categorized as an addiction because it's like, not only is it just something that was like a little habit that you know, you couldn't break, but now it's like, it's, oh my God, I'm going to sound repetitive, but it's habitual. Like you just constantly, you have to get just to function. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, the everything, you know, you got your freaks, then you got your nymphos, then you got your addicts. And if you feel like you can't hold out, you're an addict. If you can't function without it, you're an addict. Like that's just, and that's not always a bad thing, but it's just like, you know, when you allow it to keep you from being successful, then that's when it's really a problem. You know what I'm saying? I honestly feel like it's something natural. It's something that people are just gonna do. It's in our nature to reproduce. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I see everything reproduces. Everything humps each other, like flies. I didn't see flies stuck together. I didn't see cats, dogs. Like, what did I see? I don't know if it was like a grasshopper or something. I never seen nothing like that, 2 grasshoppers. But I was just like, this, everybody like the like everything and everybody and everything. But I mean, it's just a part of nature. You know what I'm saying? That is something that is definitely a part of nature. But you know that there is essentially a problem when you literally have to have it just to function. You can't hold out, you know, just allowing it to really take over your overall character. That's where it gets scary.
And if you feel as though you can't, like she say, function without it, go seek professional help to help you, because that's the best option.
Oh, yeah.
Do it yourself and keep failing.
Yeah. Or you know what? Another thing too is, you know, one thing that I learned too over these past like several months, I learned a term called sexual transmutation. I don't know if you heard this term. This was definitely new to me, but they have a chapter in this book called Think and Grow Rich. And Think and Grow Rich. I don't think it's in Law of Attraction, but I think it's in Think and Grow. I know for sure it's in Think and Grow Rich. Sexual transmutation is more so like that urge that you get, that sexual energy that you start to feel, and what the healthiest way to deal with that, you transmute that energy into something that's going to allow you to be great, right? Because the way it works is, I know they were mainly talking about like men, because men that have very high sex drives are more likely to be successful. You know, they're more motivated by a woman's presence, essentially. You know what I'm saying? For example, say like you're like a baller, right? Like you play basketball very well. When you're in front of your dudes, like of course you're gonna ball out, but let a woman be there. You really gonna show out, right? Because especially she's pretty, right? You like, oh no, I'm not about to let these dudes dunk on me, not in front of her, right? So instead of dropping a basketball and going to shoot into her and going to get her number, you want to ball out on that court. And now you out there doing tricks and stuff. You shooting threes and making them. You making all your free throws because that woman's presence is there. Like that urge is there. She's pretty, you know, like you might even hear her voice and she might sound cute. She might walk nice. You know what I'm saying? All these things that attract you to her are enhancing your ability to play better, because now you have extra energy from that urge to perform better. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the best way to really combat, those urges and that energy is to pass it off or transmute it to something that's going to allow you to be great. Now, this can work for women too, but because men have very high sex drives, they really speak more about it on men. But if a woman understands how a man thinks, she can definitely use that to her advantage. You know what I'm saying? And manage a team, you know what I'm saying? Especially if she's intelligent, especially if she knows how to cater to men's needs in an appropriate manner. You know what I'm saying? Just little things like eye contact and speech, like not speech, but communication, and maybe even touch. Like, it don't have to be like an intimate touch, like grabbing and all that other stuff, but it could just be like, even in the form of a handshake or a hug, her smelling nice, her looking nice, that can definitely affect how a man performs, whether he sell cars, play basketball, work in a warehouse. You know what I'm saying? All of those things are motivators to get a man to perform well. So instead of just thinking, let me hump the next thing walking, it's like, okay, I am getting that urge, but now that I'm getting that urge, I'm going to transmute it to something that will enhance my creativity. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that if people really understood that concept, a lot of people would perform very, very well in whatever they're striving to achieve. Well, men specifically, but when women understand that concept, oh yeah, like the ball is in your court. You can get anybody to do anything. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like men and women business or partnerships would stand strong if they both understood that concept. And so instead of allowing, like sex to consume you or instead of being addicted to it, I think people just need to take that, once they understand that energy is so strong, you can transmute it into something to enhance your creativity, you're winning. From personal experience, I've held out before. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, man, like, it's been a minute. But when I felt that urge, I like to edit photos. So when I felt that urge, I got right on the phone editing photos. And when I look back on them, I'm like, dang, I did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it works like on both ends, but I feel like both genders need to understand that concept in order for it to work.
I would say I did it, I guess it's called subconsciously, without knowing what it was for when I was mobile. Yeah, I used to do that all the time.
And then they have a term for it too. Like, I don't know if you've also heard this term too. It's called like semen retention. But yeah, essentially it's the same thing. But yeah, like when you have that urge and you just transmute it into something that's going to enhance your creativity, like I promise it does. Definitely works for sure. So I feel like, an addict, I just like to take a holistic approach to everything. And I feel like anybody that is addicted to something, there is always a way to combat that without medication. I mean, obviously, like with professional help, you need to, you know how the neurons and everything are connected, and how, synapses work and stuff in the brain. So you definitely want to get professional help from somebody that understands overall brain development and connectivity. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely a lot of holistic ways to like overcome. There's a lot of ways to calm down.
They call some people like,
yeah. Oh, see, yeah, and that's where it gets difficult too, because it's like, oh, talk about this. Okay. So like, even like it can get dangerous to the point where like you don't know if you're dealing with a Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I'm saying? And first of all, hold on. Pause. I'm gonna just say that dude was nasty. He didn't have no sexual addiction. He was just he was infatuated with corpses. That's beyond
sexual pleasure from it. And I just check on minds all the time, because they said sometimes the killing of like whether they're on target is, they're on what you call it, they get sexual pleasure from it.
Yeah, like he was aroused by dead stuff. Now, I don't necessarily want to, I'm in denial, okay? I don't want to say that's sexual addiction. That's something else. That's just, you just need to be fixed at that. That's the best way I can put it. You need to be fixed at that point, okay? But I think, see, and that's where I was going with the understanding the brain. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some way, somehow, there was a trigger to where in his mind, like he found dead stuff or violent things amusing. You know what? As a matter of fact, I watched the documentary, but I gotta watch it again because I gotta see where I missed the link at, because I am a psych major and very actuated patterns and behavior.
Whatever was on Netflix, I watched, but I didn't watch if it was like a documentary, I didn't watch it. I watched the TV show or the movie, whichever one, just where everybody was so fascinated. So
yeah, like I think I watched the documentary first, and then, or I started watching it and it just kind of like turned me off a little bit. I was just like, oh my God, he's crazy. And then I watched a little Netflix series or whatever that came out. But yeah, I don't really think of how he developed sexual pleasure from, I gotta see. I'm over here acting like I'm a damn psychologist or something. I'm interested in stuff like that. I went to school to understand patterns, behaviors, personalities, how the brain works. Like, I went to school for that.
That's a good thing.
Missed the link though. I missed the link between. But you know what? One thing that the brain also makes is dopamine, right? And dopamine is linked with pleasure. And so I don't know if that made him feel superior and he just got aroused from feeling superior. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I gotta watch it again. But yeah, that was crazy. That was definitely.
I know in the series, he got all them being scared, even though they was men.
Yeah.
They were scared of him.
Yeah.
He was like, what's up with him? Like, what is he doing?
Yeah. So, okay. So essentially I was on the right track. You know what I'm saying? Control.
Yeah, completely. It was like once he got them in that house, it was like a wreck. They was his.
Yep. Control. So okay. So that makes sense. Because when a lot of men, when they feel like they have control in the bedroom, you know what I'm saying? Or wherever they're at, it's arousing for them. You know what I'm saying? So he just took it a notch higher and was just like, I don't care if I gotta chop your head off. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just wild with it. But okay, that makes a lot of sense. It don't make a
men have wild imagination.
Yeah.
Certain types men.
Yeah. And blood and death just really enticed him because the control. So, all right, that makes sense.
He wanted to recreate once you certain, like you said, certain kitty and whatever else other people try to recreate that moment or that feeling. It becomes a obsession, feeling bad.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's scary too. Like when you become just obsessed with something. You know what I'm saying? You fixate your mind on everything about it and every little detail. You want to know a lot of what it all entails and everything like that. Like it's scary, and that's just something you just got to be careful with.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but from what they told on their interviews, people are doing sexual favors to attain fame and riches. That's just something that they told that was going on. It's not nothing I'm saying that they didn't say in their interview, but that's what they doing. They want they want to feel a certain way or a certain status or feel a certain way, and they will do what they have to do to get there. But that, like you said, don't make it right. But we understand that that's their choice. That's why some of them later on kill themselves, because they realized they went too far with trying to attain fame and keeping that fame.
Oh yeah, and the sad thing about it too is depending on how quickly you get to the top, is contingent upon what are you willing to do. You know, because you don't know what these people.
That's why they be on drugs and stuff, kind of escape.
Yeah, they don't want to remember that. They got to take as much drugs and drink as they can so they could be like, well, I'm over here, sleeping my way to the top. I don't want to have to remember this. Or, just at least try to make the most of the moment. And, or they might get a little notoriety. But, if you're aiming to be up there with Beyonce, you gonna have to run through some people, and you gotta have a little bit of talent. A little bit, just a little bit. No, not a little bit, a lot of bit. But you gotta be a full entertainer or whatever the case may be. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta have multi-talents. You gotta speak multiple languages. You gotta, and yeah, that's scary. But I don't feel like that's a conspiracy at all. Like I definitely feel like that's really what's happening.
I'm just saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm letting them know. I'm just going based off of what I saw on interviews from famous people. This is they experience. So it's not nobody creates conspiracies. It's just something that happened.
Yeah. And to me, I feel like it's crazy how much influence sex has on people. Sex, money, and drugs. Those are the main three that over a lot of people is those three things. And you don't never hear nobody say, oh, motivation, manifestation, and prayer is what got me here. Like it's always, oh, I have to do this or do a little something strange for some change to get here. Like I think that's crazy. That's really crazy.
That's what they go through though. I know some people that should be on a higher level, but they wasn't with all that fraternizing. Yeah, they got something going on. I know Rick Ross was one of the people. I don't know who started. They said take the 500,000 or have a meeting with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z said take the money because what. And I understood what he meant when he said you don't know what the conversation gonna be. Well, at the dinner, so you could use the information, yeah, but if you got bills and stuff to pay, then you definitely take the money. And he said, well, Jay-Z said that if you want to know all the knowledge and stuff, he said, look through the lyrics. So you supposed to take the money then. If he's saying that, just listen to his song and it's all there. That's free information.
There's a lot that you can do to get to where he's at. It just depends on, drive, your want. Honestly, like want is the prerequisite to success, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And depending on how bad you want something, you're gonna make it happen, right? For example, I'll just take it down to a smaller scale, right? You're going for a job. You really want that job. You qualify and all of that. You practice your interview questions because you want this, right? The pay is right. The location's amazing. What are you gonna do? You're gonna do what you gotta do to make sure you try to interview and get that job, right? Come in there dressed, suited and booted. You gonna have your resume ready or you had it uploaded already. Cover letter on point. Like you want this thing, and there should be no reason why you don't get it. You got years on years of experience. You already know what to do. You've worked the software, or something similar, or you've been in this industry, something similar, and you're just looking for a better work environment that suits your needs a little bit better, and so on. You want this thing, you're gonna prepare for it. You get it, you love it, you work hard at it, you elevate, and you promote, right? And it all started with, I want that, right? So I think what people have to remember is want is very, very strong. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like he was right. Jay-Z was right about that. Like, take the money because 9 times out of 10, maybe not. You know what I'm saying? You might walk away from here and not retain anything that I told you. I spoke to you. So he was definitely on to something with that. And I don't even know how people even spark that debate. Like, I just feel like that's crazy because a lot of people is like, I'd rather just take the money. And it's like, it's not even about just taking the
money. He take the dinner, but Ross already rich, so he could afford to say he take the dinner because you got the money already to make those type of moves that Jay-Z made. People that don't got that kind of money won't take the money because they don't have that kind of money you got already.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So us, he going to probably look at us crazy. Like, why you talking to? He probably not say that, but I'm just saying he might say that. Like, why you here talking to me? You should just take the money.
You know what I'm saying? Versus like somebody else that's like, if I could just get 10 minutes with a billionaire and just know the ropes and it's about coming prepared as well too. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If I didn't have an option to take 500K, but I could take the dinner, guess what I'm doing at that dinner? All right, Mr. Carter, I got some notes for you because I'm trying to figure out. I'm taking a pen and paper with me for real. Because at the end of the day, it's like,
You study.
you know what I'm saying? You have a producer mindset and I have a consumer mindset. And I'm just trying to figure out what can I do to better my situation, starting with my mind. A lot of people are not going to think like that, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But I know me personally, if I didn't have an option to take 500K and he offered me dinner, dude, if I don't got a pen and paper, I'm taking my phone, I'm taking some notes, I'm asking questions, I'm interviewing you at this point because I need to figure out where can I start on my path to success, you know, from or getting advice from him. You know what I'm saying? From his perspective, where do you think a average middle class citizen like me should start in this day and age? You know what I'm saying? What do you think is lucrative to elevate my life and how to get out there, and what type of mentality should I really have when I'm going into this world trying to build myself up? And when you are building yourself up, how did you look at money? How did you keep yourself motivated? And what is the best lucrative, or what is the most lucrative business to really get into that, you know, can really change my life forever, in his opinion? Now, everything he might tell me, not 100% of everything will work, but I feel like just him telling me what type of mindset I need to have, and he's a billionaire and I'm not. You know, I'm having $1 billion conversation with you. So if you learn how to turn those words into your reality, I feel like you're not losing. You know, you're not losing. He's acquired something that I don't have. You know what I'm And so it's up to me. If I want what he has, guess what I got to do? I got to be around him. I got to know what he did to get to what he got, where he got, you know? So, yeah, I'm just not going to want to sell no drugs. I'll be like, now, what you think about the cannabis industry? It's legal out here in California now. So what you feel like it's saturated, or where do you think I could get in where I fit in with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, all legal ways of how to get around stuff. But I definitely feel like he would tell me to read some books. I definitely feel like he would tell me to plan my work and work my plan. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, but
take the money and buy him dinner, so that way you can still get the information. It's all different ways to utilize both.
people be hating. I would even take a conversation with Kanye West.
Right.
Thing for another, you know, another day. But all in all, though, to go ahead and start wrapping this segment up. Yeah, like when something becomes an addiction, you know, like you allow it to start consuming you. And I feel like, you know, one of the strongest, I don't want to say sex is an emotion, but one of the strongest, is it an emotion? No, it's not. It's just energy.
No, it is actually, because me and you could be intimate mentally. We don't have to have sex.
Right.
So it got to be an emotion. Well, it's an action, but it's also an emotion because you want to do something.
Yeah.
So it's an emotion.
I guess so, huh? Because I looked at it like it was just frequency and energy. You know what I'm saying? It's just high energy, strong energy. I guess it could be categorized as emotion, kind of, sort of. But I always looked at it as just energy, as high frequency or energy. You know what I'm saying? Or exchange of energy that's very, very strong. But yeah, when it comes to that, it's just I feel like, you know, that is something that get a lot of it to where it's like, you know, you constantly always have to have it now. Now, I feel like it's a little bit different when you're, you know, committed to somebody and so on, but you still don't want to allow it to consume your life and get it to where you can't function without it. Allow yourself to fast from it and take breaks, you know what I'm saying, and really like focus on yourself, or even transmute that energy into something that's going to allow you to be more creative. And I feel like that will develop like more or better people in this world. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe even better writers, maybe even better Olympians. What are they called? Olympians? Yeah, I'm just gonna say athletes because I sounded stupid saying that. You know, I feel like when that energy is strong, just transmuting it into something that's gonna allow your creativity to blossom is a healthier way to deal with that. And that's that. Hopefully, you know, that type of this information does help somebody somewhere, and you know, and let this be a piece of, I don't want to say professional advice, but I got it from a book. So yeah, let it be a little piece of professional advice to help somebody just, you know, like change their life and really go for something better, or allow themselves to be better and blossom into, you know, a better person or a better version of themselves. And that's all I got to say about that.
You got addiction. Well, I don't leave it with. If you do got addiction and you can't find a way to stop yourself in general, get some professional help. But the other thing I just wanted to say about the emotion, because you can have sex with somebody and not be emotionally attached to them while you're having sex. You're more so focused on the pleasure that you're just getting from. It could be a selfish reason or something. But females, majority of the time, mentally they see themselves enjoying having sex with a man that they give themselves to. Because most of the time they won't give to a man that they don't find a sex appeal to. So
yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
well, we thank y'all. We until next time, y'all take care. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your people.